What's up guys, my name is Jeremy Lieber. I am the founder of Uncommon Education Trading. I'm a professional day trader who has been trading for 8 years now, and I'm going to be talking about reward to risk ratios in this video. Make sure to like and subscribe for more trading related content. Let's hop into it. So as you can see here on AMD, we sent out a potential play to our members at Uncommon Education Trading that we were looking for puts below the 142.26 level. Now there was a few reasons for this. Number one is if we zoom out a little bit, we can see that AMD has been in a free fall. So we were expecting weakness on the day. Market was also showing weakness pre-market. So we had a pretty good idea that we were gonna get some downside movement. Now, we don't just enter because we believe that a stock is going to go down or go up. We want to have forms of confirmation. So one of our strategies that we teach is when we get a break of a level and get some form of confirmation, that is where we enter. So in this example, we get the initial drop on AMD. We hang out right at this key level of the 142.26 and ultimately fail the level, and we see a massive drop tagging both of our price targets. It was an awesome move. Cool thing about options trading, for those who don't know, is you can make money on both sides of the stock, whether it's going up or down. In this example, we bought puts or shorted the stock, which means as the stock decreased in value, we were increasing our position or making money as, again, the stock itself was losing value. So what we see as far as reward to risk goes in day trading, you want to make sure that the potential reward on any trade outweighs the potential risk on any position that you're about to enter. So in this case, our entry according to our strategy would have been somewhere in this realm. And I'll go ahead and highlight that with a little oval here. Now again, this is one of our strategies called the rally-based rally strategy, something that is a great way to enter on some type of continuation move, but have a good reward to risk ratio. So again, by entering here, our reward, and I'll highlight again with our little oval tool here, our reward to take profit 1 was this, and our reward to take profit 2 was this. So really nice rewards here you can see, and again, I will highlight with an arrow here our entry for puts here on this play on AMD. So the nice thing about entering in this particular trade or in this specific setup is that, again, we had a lot of room to our take profit levels, which means the reward was really, really nice. Now, from a risk perspective, where would we have exited for a loss? Well, we can see here that multiple times we got rejected essentially at the 921 EMA mark, just below the opening print. And so on this specific trade with the rally-based rally strategy, we do not want price action to cross above those EMA levels. So we'll go ahead and mark the risk here from our entry point, which would be if we saw price go above, let's just say right here, which was the 21 EMA at the time, this was our risk. Now, what's interesting about this setup in particular is if you were to count out how many times the reward to risk ratio is in our favor, you can very clearly see that the potential reward outweighs the risk. Let's go ahead and find out exactly how much. Okay, so we're gonna duplicate these and we're gonna see exactly how much reward to risk we had on this trade. So there's 1, there's 2. So it was almost 3 times reward to risk for take profit 1, and for take profit 2 for 5 to 1 reward to risk, which is absolutely incredible. Now what's cool about this again is this is the risk on the trade that we were taking here on AMD, and these were the rewards. So what that means is that, let's say in this example, from entry to take profit 1, it was a 50% gain. Well, if that's the case, again, in this example of a 3 to 1 or 5 to 1, our potential risk on the trade would have been much less than what we were going to make on the trade from a reward perspective. The reason reward to risk ratios are so important, and if your trading mentor or you yourself are trading without this at the forefront of your mind, I can almost guarantee you will not be profitable. The reason it's so important is you don't have to have a high win rate to be profitable as long as you have a good reward to risk setup. So again, in this example, if I were to take 3 trades, right, that were all losses in this exact same setup, and on the 4th trade, I let it run and hit its take profit 2, I'm going to be very profitable. Because again, what I lose is this amount each time I lose the trade, but if each time I win, it's this amount, again, I have the ability to be right only one every 1, 2, 3, 4, even 5 times, and I am right around break even. Okay, so that's not very good. If you are only right 1 out of every 5 times you enter a trade, you're probably not good at identifying setups. But even in that example, as long as you have a good reward to risk ratio, you can make money and you can be profitable. Now, let's say that you are right 60% of the time, 70% of the time, or even 80% of the time. With this level of reward to risk, you are going to be extremely profitable. And so more than win rate, more than how much you're trading with, really more than anything, every time you enter a trade, you need to be identifying what the potential reward to risk ratio is and make sure that it is in your favor. So let's talk about 2 common mistakes that people make when it comes to these reward to risk setups, and really any setup in general when it comes to options trading in particular. So one of the big mistakes that I see, again, we work with and have worked with now over 1,000 students, people who have come through our mastermind program, our monthly memberships, and one of the most common issues that we see is when they enter and it starts going in their favor, they take profits too early. And the reason being is your brain does weird things when you're in a trade with real money. You're much more attached to the money than you should be. I feel like that's very common for most people who start day trading and have to understand that money is just a tool to make more money. Most people have a very unhealthy relationship with money, actually. So day trading can help with that in a lot of ways. But one thing that people will do is it'll start going in their favor. They'll start, making money, and then they'll see how much they're up, and they're like, oh my gosh, I need to lock in profits. Like, this is a great trade, boom. So they'll close for profit here. Now, the problem with that is, again, if this is our risk and we then take profit right here from our entry, look what that does to our reward to risk ratio. It's basically a 1-to-1. So that means you have to have a 50% win rate just to break even if you are cutting your winners too early. That is a very, very difficult way to trade. And you have to have a high win rate, and most people are not going to find consistent success if they are cutting their wins early. Now, on the flip side, let's say you are doing this right here, so you're cutting your wins early, but on the opposite end, let's say this trade didn't go in our favor. So let's say the trade starts going back up and it hits this point where we know we need to exit for a loss, and you don't exit for a loss, right? Because you're scared of losing, you don't want to lose the money, you're too prideful to exit for a loss. A million reasons why people don't exit for a loss. In this example, let's say it kept running up, and then finally you get to this point, you're like, oh my gosh, like I have to get out. Well, now look what the reward to risk ratio has done. Now, again, even with a 50% win rate, you are going to be losing money and not be profitable, right? And in this example, you would actually have to be right. Even if you were right 2 out of 3 times, you would still lose money because your loss is greater than your win. I want to make sure that if you take nothing else from this video, you understand that in order to be profitable, you have to have the reward to risk ratio in the favor of the reward. Win rate means nothing. Literally, you could go every single morning into the stock market and flip a coin, whether you're going to enter calls or puts or essentially go long or short. Literally could flip a coin. And if you had a good reward to risk ratio, meaning you would take profit at a point that was what we teach at least 2, hopefully 3 times the amount of risk that you were willing to put in the trade, you would make money. Because again, statistically speaking, with a coin flip, you're going to be right 50% of the time. And if your reward to risk ratio is in your favor, then you will be making money. So hopefully this is helpful. Hopefully this illustrates the importance of reward to risk and why win rate really doesn't matter all that much. As long as you have a good entry point where if it works, it's going to work well and you have room for the take profits. And if it doesn't, you're going to get out for a quick loss. So if this is something that you want to learn how to do on a execution standpoint, if you want to learn about the strategy, the rally-based rally, if you want to take part in any of our upcoming masterminds or Uncommon 2.0 programs, make sure to like and subscribe. Head over to our Instagram page, hit the link in our bio, feel free to shoot us a DM, and let's trade smart together.